Hare Krishna. Welcome to this video on personalism, which is the missing key in modern astrology. Before we dive into how ancient sages taught nakshatra wisdom, we must establish a foundational truth that is often forgotten today about astrology. Astrology cannot be separated from Vaishnava culture, from personalism, from the living personalities behind these cosmic energies and how they are connected to the Supreme Lord and help us align. Modern approaches often they drift into impersonalism. They treat deities as just symbols, and even Puranic events are labeled as myths, mythology. And nakshatras, they are psychological archetypes. So this breaks the connection to the original Vedic intention. So the whole system collapses and there's no purpose in that kind of astrology. So the nakshatras are not abstractions. They are living spaces of divine personalities expressing a specific mood, force, and intention. So their histories are not metaphors, they are not mythology, they're actual events, actual stories mentioned in the Puranas, in Srimad Bhagavatam, and they're recorded by the rishis so that we can align with this cosmic currents. We cannot understand a nakshatra if we disconnect from the personalism aspect of it, if we disconnect it from the personality that it animates. So this is why the sages gave us a step-by-step tradition rooted in divine history, cosmic personalism, and lived experience, not speculation. This science of nakshatra is in alignment to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. In other words, they have scriptural evidence of their personality. So how the sages originally taught nakshatra energy. The sages or the rishis, they understood that nakshatra cannot be understood intellectually. Nakshatra is an energetic presence which has personal deities behind. Their presence is not just a concept. So it's not just, oh, I have Sun in the 12th house, I have Mars in the 11th house, I have Rahu in the 10th house. It's not enough. You need to also see the nakshatra of that planet. So the sages, they did something brilliant. They preserved the real Puranic histories. They connected to each of these nakshatras. They revealed, they gave us in the format of sutras in certain scriptures. For example, Brahma's desire is in Rohini nakshatra, Rudra's tears in the Ardra nakshatra, Aditi's devotion and Daksha's arrogance, Nriti's destructive force, Brihaspati's nourishment is in Pushya nakshatra. So, very beautifully explained through the connections that Srimad Bhagavatam shows their story and how these stories are not just stories, they're histories, they're living vibrations through these historical and shastric events. By meditating on these divine episodes, a seeker, a true spiritualist who wants to transcend themselves from the material world can feel the pulse of the nakshatra. You don't understand a nakshatra through definition. You understand it by entering the mood of its deity. So it's very important that person have that mindset of personalism. So that's the ancient, authentic, proper method. Of course, the modern problem is that over time, much of this knowledge was lost and stories were also lost, and the stories became more softened, simplified, remove the personal aspects of it, just keep it psychologized, treat it as a folklore, stripped of their divine authority. And then it just becomes first of all, astrology itself is not, and then it becomes very weak and doesn't fulfill its purpose. So in the process, the electricity of the nakshatras was diminished. Impersonalism replaced personalism. Speculation replaced revelation. That's what is happening with modern day astrology and astrologers. And I wrote a book, How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology. If you have not read it, kindly do it. So the nakshatra actually helps us decode our mind. It must be awakened through the presence of the deity and the energetic memory of the divine event. It is not just through impersonalism. We cannot. If you believe in astrology, then you have to believe in the Supreme Lord and his agents. Because energy means transformation. It's not static meaning. Another core insight that the sages, they preserved is that nakshatra knowledge is not static. It's not fixed. to a planet. Many astrologers will say this nakshatra is ruled by Mars, this nakshatra. Actually, it's about the deities behind, and they're not controlled or fixed by the zodiac signs. Some people attribute nakshatras to Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika is in Aries, but that is not the actual proper understanding of the nakshatras according to the scriptures. So these nakshatras are independent. They are sidereal. The 27 energies transform us. 27 nakshatras, 108 energies if you divide the padas. So each layer is energy, shifting expression, the tone, the intention, the direction. We'll discuss more in this series. And nakshatra is never a single thing. It's the movement of energy. It's a process. It's a transformation. To think that it's static is a misrepresentation of it, to say the least.
A lot of insight and some unknown reason.
Now we'll get into the Shastric basis. So the great key why the Taittiriya Brahmana is the topmost authority on nakshatras. So now we are arriving at this central treasure given by the rishis, the Taittiriya Brahmana. So there are many chapters in this. There are certain chapters dedicated specifically to the sutras on astrology. This book is actually the oldest, most authoritative, most direct revelation of the nakshatra energies. Unlike modern texts, this does not explain, it does not interpret, it does not soften, it does not speculate. It gives us the pure sutras. So let's talk a little bit about sutras. A sutra is not actually a sentence. It's a seed. It's a spark. It's a coded vibration. So a sutra should actually confuse the intellect but electrify the intuition. If you read a sutra and immediately you understand it, it's not a sutra anymore. It has already been diluted. So the sages designed sutras. Why? So that the mind is stopped. The intuition wakes up. Personal revelation begins. That's kind of my understanding of how the sutras work in my experience. The sutra is not meant to be figured out. It's not like mathematics. It's meant to be contemplated, held, sat with, processed intuitively, meditated upon. So this is how the nakshatra reveals itself to you in the form of sutras. And why the literal translation matters. When we translate sutras into neat, poetic paragraphs, we lose the original charge. We get someone's interpretation, not the energy itself. So that's why it's very difficult to figure out what the nakshatras are actually telling you about your life purpose. It requires high levels of intuition to decode that and understand the sutras. So this is why literal translation is essential, even if the sutra sounds strange or abrupt, illogical. That is exactly how it's supposed to be. The power of a sutra is equal to the time you spend pulling its thread. It's like the longer you spend time and contemplate on the sutra, the more knowledge it reveals. It's very personal again. Knowledge that cannot be found in any book. In fact, of course, that's why we depend on mystic astrologers, intuitive astrologers, spiritual astrologers that have very good sadhana. They've done the introspection and they have the intuitive knowledge that they're able to share with us in the form of the wisdom that they understand. So the threefold meaning of each sutra, that as I've learned from my teachers, one of my teachers is Ernst Willem. He really explains these nakshatras each nakshatra sutra carries three simultaneous meanings. One is the spiritual meaning, which means the upward movement of the consciousness. Then there is the psychological meaning, means the tendencies, the motivations, the inner nature is revealed. Then physical, body, environment, material expression of the nakshatra. Unless all this is integrated, you don't actually get the right formula. So this reflects the Vedic principle that microcosm and the macrocosm mirror one another. So these layers must be studied together, not in isolation. And then there is also the 4-part structure of every nakshatra sutra. Let's talk about that. Each of the 27 nakshatras contain sutras, and each of those sutras contain 4 components. The first component is the deity that is connected to the nakshatra, the personality who rules that nakshatra space. 5 sutras, the grammar says of the deity. But for Aditi and Riti, it says for the deity. These grammatical shifts, it has very strong meaning and it has profound energetic truths behind that. We will discuss what that means throughout the series. The second component is the aspect of the deity. What specific expression of the deity flows into the nakshatra? Often this is like the original ancient name of the nakshatra, the root word, older and more accurate than modern naming systems. The third component is the parastat, which means from above, a descending force from higher planes, from the cosmic ocean of consciousness, energy is descending. And then the fourth element is the avastha, means from below. So this is about an ascending force from Earth's consciousness, which is going upward, meeting the divine impulse in the nakshatra. So there is this two dimension. And then together they form this living energetic architecture of each nakshatra. How fascinating. How wonderful. So let's understand this above and the below, the meeting of the heaven and the earth. And what's interesting is this literature, the Taittiriya Brahmana, it does not define these terms, and it's done purposefully. The silence is intentional. It forces the seeker to look deeper. To understand them, we have to understand the context. We return to the Rig Veda. Varuna, the lord of the cosmic waters, he placed the nakshatras in the heavens. The nakshatras arise as waves from the cosmic ocean of Varuna. And Varuna is the presiding deity of the moon. The moon is the husband of the nakshatras. The nakshatras are the daughters of Daksha Prajapati, the 27 daughters of Daksha. So Chandradev married the 27 nakshatras. So above means Varuna's ocean of cosmic consciousness. Below is the earth's embodied consciousness. And moon, which is bridging and uniting the two. And the most fascinating part is as the moon is moving through the nakshatras, it's basically moon god spending the time impregnating each wife. That's the nakshatra meaning of the day of the nakshatra. So the divine energy descends and the earthly energy rises, creating the living vibration of the nakshatra of that day. So the esoteric meaning, it's not a metaphor. This is Vedic cosmology, it's Vedic history. Moon god is spending the time with that specific wife, and that's when that nakshatra is activated. Moon god is touching that specific nakshatra and empowering that nakshatra. And we get that, the energy descends. So the sages gave us everything we need, divine histories, to feel the personalities of each nakshatra, divine connections, transformation principles to help us understand their movement, their psychology, their connections. And they gave us the sutras to access their purest energetic essence. And the Taittiriya Brahmana as the authoritative master. To study nakshatra, the way the rishis intended is not to memorize, it's not to memorize. It is to contemplate, not just to guess, but it is to wait for them to reveal and not to depersonalize, but to honor the divine personalities behind them. So in one sense, it's not just an academic study, it's actually a sadhana. That's why the best of the astrologers have very good sadhana, a devotional engagement with the cosmic intelligences who reveal themselves only to those who approach this science with humility, with reverence, and a heart that is open for the revelation. A little bit about the Taittiriya Brahmana. This is actually a Sanskrit text that serves as a commentary on the Krishna Yajurveda Samhita. It provides explanations for its hymns and the mantras, and it's considered to be like very, very important, which contains very important texts and also astronomical information and instructions for Vedic sacrifices and rituals. So this book is divided into 3 books. It was in South India around 300 to 400 BCE. It largely consists of many, many hymns and sutras about Vedic gods and their stories and history. And then also it contains sacrificial instructions, how to do yagyas and how to do certain ceremonies. And what is of our interest is it contains astronomy and astrology, astronomical and astrological information, concrete, deep information about nakshatras. And in these videos, I will be referencing to a book on the Taittiriya Brahmana written by Ernst Wilhelm, and let me know if you have any questions. And if you comment on the video of each of the nakshatras, I would be willing to tell you what is your nakshatra so you can understand further into detail about what this can reveal about your purpose in life, your psychology, your connection with the universe, the connection with the cosmos, and specifically with the deities, and what specific period of your life is activated and how to take advantage of it. Hare Krishna.